Bill O'Reilly here, Friday, January 15th, 2021. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening today in America. Without question, this month, January, will go down as one of the most consequential periods of time in American history. Since New Year's Day, hundreds of Americans have been arrested for insurrection against the United States Congress. Social media platforms have permanently banned a sitting president and thousands of his supporters. And now, impeachment. The media and the Democratic Party have canceled people for simply questioning the integrity of the election, including Senators Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, Rudy Giuliani, members of the president's family, radio hosts, and the list goes on. Many corporations like AT&T, Best Buy, Verizon, and others are pledging to cut all financial ties to any member of Congress that backed the president's push to investigate election fraud. The witch hunt is intense and driven by a media that despises President Trump and his supporters. There is no question about that. Now, Mr. Trump publicly stated in his speech last week that he wanted protesters in Washington to act, quote, peacefully and patriotically in their dissent. So how can he be impeached for inciting the attack on the Capitol? Well, the answer is it doesn't matter what Mr. Trump actually said. The hate Trump machine was going to blame him for the assault on the Capitol, just like it did blame him for thousands of COVID deaths. Remember that? The truth is that President Trump had no idea sedition was in the air, but he certainly understood that anger was, and the president did nothing to diffuse that anger. And he possibly stoked it. That's open to debate. That was a grave mistake, but not an impeachable one. With less than a week before Inauguration Day, Senator McConnell has already confirmed a trial against Mr. Trump will happen only after he leaves office, and maybe never. But why should it happen at all? Is this good for the country? Of course it isn't. This creates more hatred, more division, and makes it more difficult for the new president, Joe Biden, to be effective. Coming up, my message of the day, listeners, sound off. Back in a moment. By now, you've heard me speak about Jeff Brown, my go-to tech expert, and his firm, Brownstone Research. His firm called the exact peak of the dot-com boom and just issued another major prediction. So if you've got money invested in the market, especially in popular tech stocks, this is critical information. Jeff sat down with Tech Minute's Chris Hurt to discuss something shocking he believes is on the verge of happening. So you can watch that interview at bill5g.com right now. That's bill5g.com. Jeff's top-notch newsletter provides my listeners with research to let them know of the best tech companies and the biggest market opportunities before they appear on Wall Street's radar. It's the only way to win in the market. Jeff's track record speaks for itself. He's recommended the number one S&P stock of 2016, 18, and 19. His subscribers see gains such as 432% and more in just days sometimes. So please go to bill5g.com. That's bill5g.com now. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. Listeners, sound off. We do this every Friday. You can get involved by emailing me, bill@billoreilly.com. bill@billoreilly.com. Name and town if you wish to opine. First letter comes from Dean in Zanesville, Ohio. O'Reilly, do you feel that Senator McConnell has sold out the conservative movement? Is he a rhino? Rhino being Republican in name only. My analysis of the Senate Majority Leader is that Mitch McConnell does not like Donald Trump. And he's playing a little bit of a game here. McConnell knows the Senate is not going to vote to convict Donald Trump of high crimes and misdemeanors. So he's putting the vote off and basically saying to everybody, well, I don't know how I would vote. But Mr. McConnell does not want to destroy the Republican Party because he, right now, is the most powerful person in it. Lori in California, Bill, you said you believe Donald Trump should pardon himself. I'm confused. I thought you had to be charged with a crime before you could be pardoned. No. You can get a presidential pardon for all crimes that might be directed your way. And I believe that President Trump is on firm constitutional grounds if he pardons himself. Certainly he can pardon any of the people in his administration before they would be charged. Bob is in Eagle River, Alaska. A little chilly up there this time of year. Bob says, I don't recall the background of black codes. Didn't President Andrew Johnson have to get congressional approval to implement them? Now, this is a history question based on impeachment. So President Andrew Johnson took office after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865. That was right after the Civil War. And there were no state governments in the Confederacy because they had rebelled against the Union. So President Johnson was in charge of the southern states, and Union troops kept order. Johnson, a bigot and a racist from Tennessee, ordered that freed slaves not be given employment opportunities. So they had to work for very little money on the huge plantations. That was called the Black Code. Now, that did not lead to his impeachment. Johnson was impeached over another matter, but the Black Code caused hatred against Johnson. Steve, Helena, Montana. In my opinion, the best thing that could act to bring the country together would be a Biden pardon of Donald Trump right after the inauguration. Will not happen, Steve, because President Biden fears the backlash from his own party, Twitter, and all of that. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve that message by putting it together in a moment. Something you might not know. Investors, are you seeking steady cash flow, ready to diversify? Have you considered a proven real estate investment fund? NRIA is one of the nation's leading realty specialists and offers 10% annualized monthly payouts, with bonuses targeted to 21%. That's right, you could receive steady 10% return monthly payments with bonuses. You know, they specialize in realty investing done right. Even use your 401k or IRA to invest. NRIA's 15-year track record and $1.2 billion in new construction development backs you. So learn how you can invest in this hard asset real estate cash flow fund today and receive 10% annualized monthly payouts with bonuses. This is something savvy investors should research and consider. Please call now, 201-210-2727, 201-210-2727, or visit nria.net.
An offer to buy or sell any security is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. National is a real estate development firm. See us at nria.net.
Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. Inauguration Day, less than a week away. On January 20th, Joe Biden will be sworn in as the 46th President of the United States. One person who will not be in attendance, the 45th President, Donald Trump. Mr. Trump will be the first commander-in-chief to skip the inaugural in more than 150 years. The last time was 1869. Outgoing Chief Executive Andrew Johnson detested the incoming president, Ulysses S. Grant, and the feeling was mutual. The feud dated back to the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. That promoted Johnson to the presidency. Now, Andrew Johnson's racist views offended Grant, who ran the Army. In February 1868, Johnson became the first president ever impeached by the House. Grant supported the removal. He and Johnson accused each other of being liars, cheats, and frauds. The Senate ultimately acquitted Andrew Johnson by just one vote. President Johnson was so unpopular during his tenure that the Democrats refused to nominate him for a second term. The Republicans ran Grant, who won easily. Now, the two foes would be together for a transition. Grant's reaction upon his election, quote, "I will not occupy the same carriage with Mr. Johnson going to and from the Capitol." According to White House records, Johnson told his cabinet, quote, "We owed it to ourselves to take the ground that we could not, with proper self-respect, witness the inauguration of a man whom we knew to be untruthful, faithless, and false," unquote. As his successor was about to be sworn in, Andrew Johnson stayed inside the White House. At noon, he stood up, shook hands with his cabinet members, headed out the door, saying, quote, "I fancy I can already smell the sweet mountain air of Tennessee." And that's where he returned to. And here's something else you might not know. In interviews later in life, Johnson repeatedly used the following line when asked why he refused to attend the inauguration. Quote, "Say what you will about me, but I'm no hypocrite." Unquote. Back after this. How bad is your back, knee, or neck pain? Mine was pretty bad. I played 4 sports when I was younger, and it's catching up with me now. I tried a lot of stuff to manage the pain. Ointments, pain relievers, fish oil, nothing worked. So a doctor friend of mine recommended Omega XL, and here's why. The underlying cause of painful, achy joints and muscles is inflammation. The key to knock down inflammation before it causes damage is backed by 35 years of research, and that's what Omega XL does. The doctor also says, quote, "I can't write any prescription that comes close to what Omega XL accomplishes." She was right. So if you're suffering with painful, achy joints and muscles, stop wasting money and switch to Omega XL. Order Omega XL now and get a second bottle free. Visit omegaxl.com/bill, omegaxl.com/bill, or you can call 800-844-4888, 800-844-4888. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.